Hey, what's going on, boys? So everybody's been asking me for a Season 8 Apdo Twisted Fate review, so here I am. I'm watching his mid lane matchup on Twisted Fate versus Froggen's Kassadin. Now, Apdo hasn't really been streaming at all in Season 8. He's just been grinding games, like 10 to 15 games a day he's been grinding out. First on Skewed, which was permabanned for the second time, and now on his new Smurf, which of course started down in Bronze. So he's just been killing it with an 80% win rate right now in Challenger. Now, the champion he's been using the most to climb is Twisted Fate, of course, his signature champion. And his rune setup is a little bit unique. It's Unsealed Spellbook, and then for the secondary, he's been chopping and changing between Sorcery and Resolve. So just jumping into the game I'm speccing today, you'll see Unsealed Spellbook, Stopwatch, Minion Dematerializer, and Cosmic Insight. Then he grabs a Resolve. He goes for the Magic Resist and Second Wind. Now, the Resolve comes in when he needs MR into maybe Kassadin matchups, Cassiopeia matchups, a LeBlanc matchup. But then for all the other matchups, he's just been going Sorcery, getting that movement speed, getting that Scorch to kind of bully out his laners early on. So I love this setup. I've been using it myself in my games to get Challenger. The Minion Dematerializer is absolutely killer. I'll talk a little bit more in the game about it, how to use it correctly, and why it's so good. So without further ado, let's get straight into the gameplay. Okay, so heading into the game, I just want to touch on the matchup. You got Twisted Fate into Kassadin. Now, most people might think, you know, Kassadin hard stomped this matchup. Kassadin's going to win into Twisted Fate, but that's more the old Kassadin versus Twisted Fate matchup. Nowadays, you start Corrupting Potion on Twisted Fate. You have Minion Dematerializer. You have Summon a Spell Swap. If you get behind, maybe you teleport back to lane. If not, maybe you can switch out for a heal or something to kind of survive the burst. In all honesty, the matchup is not too bad for Twisted Fate anymore. There's honestly not that many bad matchups for Twisted Fate. Now that you can start the Minion Dematerializer and the Corrupting Potion, the Summon a Spell Swap, it's almost impossible to beat him out. And hard punish a laner. Like, maybe you get a kill or two, but it's still not going to mean much just because you can hold on to the laning phase. So just looking at the early laning, you'll see Jarvan going for the invade. He's being pinged out. I hate committing for these early skirmishes in the jungle. It's always detrimental to your laning phase, to be honest. Jarvan gets the flag and drag. Apdo's still level 1. He can't do shit. Bullied out a little bit. Kassadin. Froggen makes sure he follows up. In Korea, if you don't follow up for these types of skirmishes, your jungler will flame you. Possibly not give you any blues and go AFK. So you've got to make sure for these 2v2s, you're in the river, you're ready to move. Froggen burns his flash into the river, trying to contest. This is always frustrating for a mid laner. So Froggen's going to have to teleport back to lane. Apdo heads back. Now, the Minion Dematerializers, I need you guys to watch where he puts these. It's all on the backline casters. Now, why not on cannons? Why not on melee? It's because on your Qs, you want to be 2Qing backline casters at level 5. And this is just going to help you get your shoves on at level 5 before level 6 and onwards. It means that your Qs are just going to slice through that backline. You'll see in a little bit what I mean and how beneficial it is to somebody like a Twisted Fate who needs lane priority before a roam. There you go. So he pops that first one on a caster. Just holding the lane. Twisted Fate can really manipulate a Kassadin early on. Kassadin's shove is really bad. Like Kassadin, if you get a freeze, Kassadin struggles. He's really short range early. He has no cleanse, a jungler can abuse him, so if you're versing Kassadin early in this matchup, you want to freeze, you want to call your jungler to gank. You see Apdo just using a little bit of spacing there. Getting those autos out, you want to be using as many autos on Kassadin as possible. When he uses those Qs, of course, your magic damage doesn't do shit, so getting the autos out actually does hurt him a little bit. Got a nice little freeze on, Sejuani's looking to wrap, just like I said. Grab the freeze early, he's very, very immobile. Doesn't burn the Ignite, doesn't burn anything. Holding your Ignite's really nice here. Kassadin has to base, and he knows Kassadin no TP, so you want a hard shove. He materializes once again. You want to be using his ASAP. As every single time it's up, boom, put it out. Shove this tower and shove this wave and look for a reset. Froggen's pretty far behind at the moment. If a Kassadin does get ahead in Snowball, obviously in the side lanes he can run over Twisted Fate. But it's more, if you're a smart, slow Twisted Fate player, you scale up into the rod, get a catalyst. It's kind of hard to chunk you out and bully you around. So he has the option here to change up the teleport, holds onto the Ignite. He knows he can make it back to laning phase in time for the wave. There's no point burning the TP. Just hold the Ignite, possibly set up another gank, because he knows Kassadin has no flash, so you just want to be waiting, looking to get that control ward out and getting the jungler to wrap around once again. You also see the Dark Seal. The Dark Seal and Corrupting Potion, I mean, they just synergize so well together. If you're a Twisted Fate, you have a Dark Seal, you have a Corrupting. I mean, good luck trying to poke me out. infinite mana sustain, long range Qs. It's such a good laning phase right now. And there's not many matchups that can really punish it. Bot lane drops. He's sitting in the river. He gets that control ward mid bot side in the river there. Doesn't opt for a laning control ward. Which is interesting. I wonder what... Okay. Usually I try and get the river. Try and get the mid lane side brush so I can get into the roams. But I guess he's just kind of scared of either the Braum and the Jarvan because they keep coming from bot side. Holds the freeze here. Kassadin's still level 4. Just patient. Just the wave sitting into him. On Twisted Fate, you're just a ticking time bomb. You're just like glue for your team to hold the map. If the enemy team hard commits, you're there to clean up. And you're always in high elo games. It's not so much about getting kills with your ultimate. It's about the enemy team knowing, like in low elo, players play like Twisted Fate's not on the map. But in high elo, when you play Twisted Fate, right? Everybody knows there's the presence of a Twisted Fate ult. So even when you hold it and you go out of vision, everybody starts spam pinging, everyone shits themselves, goes, oh fuck, Twisted Fate has ultimate, I need to back up here. And just that type of presence actually has a massive, massive benefit to like picking Twisted Fate in these high elo games. Just holds everybody in place and makes them really cautious. The same type of pick as a Shen. This mid lane matchups really is a 2v2 right now. The jungler's having massive impacts. So this wave's pushing into Froggen here. Apdo's used all of his minion dematerializers, so his Qs right now are just shoving straight through those casters. Doesn't have to use as much mana, and now he's ready to ultimate. Just looking, clearing out some vision. He has mid lane priority, so the jungler's invading for the red. This can always go wrong, but it's a really good call from the jungler because look at top side. The Jace is hard stomping his matchup and has priority. He can move first, right? So if you're a jungler and your mid and top have priority, that red side jungle is fucking yours. And if you're not invading that and taking it, then I don't know what you're doing. You should 100% be punishing the enemy jungler because their lanes are bad. In bad spots, have bad matchups. So this Sedge can move freely to like mid top side, however the fuck she wants, because Twisted Fate, Jace are going to be there first. And if they're not, the enemy laners are missing out on even more farm because they're shoved in. Froggen opting for the blasting. Just means he's going to have a lot less health and a lot less mana sustain in the mid game. It's nice to bully around a little bit, but honestly, it's pretty bad if the Twisted Fate continuously shoves now with the Catalyst. Froggen also doesn't have a stopwatch. That's interesting. Okay. Bot side skirmish there. Apdo's just looking to shove the wave first. He'll commit, obviously, if there's a kill to pick up, but if not, he'd love to shove that wave and get the CS advantage. See how it's like glue. He just sits mid. Finally, the enemy fuck it up, and he just comes in, collects the kill. Like a stopwatch. Ooh. Just spam picks that card. You're just spamming like W. Whatever, you just first pick whatever card comes out and you hope it's a gold. Because you don't have time. You know Kassadin's going to piece the fuck out. So you only have one rotation of a card to get out. Gets the red. Doesn't really do anything. Froggen coming back with a TP here. He could collect the Sedge. Maybe not Apdo. Maybe the Sejuani. He's low on mana. Presence of mind in that level up. Yo, boy. You should get that. Collects the kill. Froggen 2 kills, Apdo 1 kill, but Apdo's got a 15 CS lead. He's also got the XP lead by a small amount. Merc trade buy here. A little bit MR against the Kassadin, to be honest. It's the biggest thing, the biggest factor here. Doesn't really want to sell anything. Looking to get that rod at around about 14 minutes or so. Just depends how this early game pans out the next 5 minutes. As you can see, like Froggen, he can't bully out this Twisted Fate. The Twisted Fate just sits mid and clears. Now he has such good wave clear because he's used those minion dematerializers in the backline. He can just sit, farm up, and then when his ultimate comes up, he just holds them up, waiting for people to overextend. Always trying to steal away some resource. This camp, I've always said it, on Twisted Fate, it's beautiful because you're passive, guys. You're getting that extra gold on every single one of the small ones. It's also what, like, on Twisted Fate versus Malzahar matchup, each of the Voidlings, you get your passive. So you can get up to an extra 6 gold each Voidling. So it's really nice to farm up against Twisted Fate versus Malz. Love that matchup. And your Q or red card just clears them out. If there's 3 Voidlings up, boom. You could get an extra 18 gold. Essentially a creep. I'm gonna grab this blue. You always need that blue on Twisted Fate early on. Like, obviously, your ultimate's 150 mana, so it's pretty pricey. The Catalyst helps, but sometimes if you're spamming those Qs for a little bit of poke, you're a little bit low. Shove that wave in. He has ultimate now, so he can kind of just sit mid. Froggen just hovering like in that little pocket there, waiting to see if the Twisted Fate either commits or he roams down. Apdo sees the opportunity to shove in, grab this CS advantage, and now he'll look to rotate. If he can't, shove the tower. Good roam by Froggen. The only problem is him doing this, it really opens up the mid lane a lot, and I mean, Apdo is just continuously getting a CS and XP advantage. The XP advantage is bigger than the CS advantage. It means more at the moment. This Jace is really fucking on the Snar. Holy shit. Once again, that red invade. The Sedge has better laners, identifies that, invades. If you're a low elo jungler, and your laners are behind, please do not do this type of buffs. When I smurf and my junglers invade, when my lane is, if my lane's like a Maokai and they're fucking getting hammered in, maybe I've got a freeze on something like a LeBlanc, please don't invade. You're gonna get killed and no one's gonna be able to follow you up. But if your laners are like in that position there, go in, take their buffs. You're the king of the jungle. 12 minutes, 40 rod, just hammering in that farm at the moment. It's looking really nice for Apdo's team. Ezreal is ahead. Every other matchup is either even or ahead. Sedge is ahead of the Gnar. Sedge is ahead of the Jarvan, and Jace is ahead of the Gnar, sorry. It's going to be interesting to see when Apdo decides to get into the side lane here. Right now, you can't really jump into the side lane because bot lane's still up. But when bot lane drops, I mean, it'd be interesting to see if Apdo decides to stick to the side lane with the Kassadin or just sit mid and rotate. Because the Kassadin strictly in a 1v1, if he can just slowly poke out Apdo, and then he can run over him. In all honesty, in the mid to late matchup of this, it's not too bad. In team fights especially, you can win out. You have that gold card. If you hold the gold card, what's Kassadin going to do? He can't go in. He gets blown up. You've got to wait out that card for if you're playing the Kassadin matchup, you've got to wait out the gold card because you've got no cleanse. That's why maybe a summon a spell stop on Kassadin. I've seen people such as Yukao run it on Kassadin into matchups like this so they can run a cleanse later on in the game. They might go the ignite at level 6 for a solo and then they change out to cleanse in the late game. They're just playing topside. They're playing for the Drake and hovering into the mid. Please. Raka may be caught out here. Oh, Jarvan just suicides. Full AD Jarvan, good night. I love full AD Jarvan. I love it. It's literally one rotation. He gets blown up. Jace and Sedge arrive and they just clean house. They're too strong in the moment. Great waves. Their bots shoving in, mid shoving in, top shoving in. They can get the rift. Apdo just wants that farm mid clearing in. Soraka leeching a little bit of XP. I thought it was pretty funny, to be honest. Like, Apdo was playing Skew. He was playing around about 20 games a day on the first week of release. Like, when this Season 8 dropped, Apdo just grinded games on Skewed. I think that would be the first account that's been permabanned, unbanned somehow, permabanned again. I don't know what the fuck happened or how it happened, but it must be something to do with the Korean accounts because they're different to obviously our Western accounts. Froggen TP's in bot, gets kill. Get 2 kills. He's 4-1. Like, Froggen is in a position where if they get a nice opening in a team fight, Froggen can clean up and possibly carry the game. The gold lead's only 2.5k. But when it comes to team comps, though, I definitely rather Apdo's comp. As a mega tank with the Soraka, you've got big DPS dealers. You've got some CC through Apdo and the Sedge ult. Nothing up, so it takes the camp. He might even hand off the, yeah. Hands off the big one to the jungler. Honestly, all you really want is the small ones. Like, the big one's nice, but if you're clearing that camp and your jungler's round, try and just ping it and give it to him, because obviously you're taking resource away from him. The small ones, he doesn't really care about that much, but they're better to you, just because of your passive once again. Clears in. He almost has enough mana to one-shot those backline. Almost. When you hit that Lich Bane, you have enough, and it's beautiful. It's just a red card into a Q, and then you just gotta finish off the melee. The bot lane still hasn't dropped, so he's not dropping into that side lane yet. Jace is better off top. Apdo's better mid because he can cover the whole map. But yeah, this account really is, like, he's not streaming on it because every time he streams an account, it gets permanently banned. So right now, he's just trying to keep on the down low, try and grind out rank 1, and then he'd probably start playing on Smurfs again. He usually gets a week or 2 in before his accounts are permit banned. I'm not sure why it takes so long. You'd think if he's ID banned, they'll just be able to pick up his account straight away and boom. Especially if he's streaming. It's weird. Very strange. I wonder if they'll ever, like, officially unban him, like the T1. I hope they do. It's been about 2 or 3 years he's been reformed, so... Has that rift, and you just group. Group as 5 with the Raka, shove in. Look for picks if you can. In Korea, this Rift Herald is insane. I remember back in OS, the Rift Herald meant nothing, but when I went to Korea, a Rift Herald means you're going for inhib. If the enemy team tries to contest, you either dive them or just continuously push. It's disgusting how much you can get with this Rift Herald if the enemy team doesn't contest it. Right there, they get a tower. Go for the inhib structure, but they can't quite drop it, but... I mean, right then, group as 5 hard commit. Apdo's going to be looking to drop this bot lane tower though soon. It's either Apdo or Jace can slot down there, push it in. He should have his Lich Bane in a couple of minutes as well. The lane allocation is looking like. Varus is dropping down bot again. Jace might follow the Gnar. I want to see what he does here. If he just sits mid or he goes to the side. As a solo laner, like, side laning is one of the most valuable things. I see low elo players do this a lot, guys. You just simply sit mid and group on each other, and it's disgusting how much XP and CS you share. If you see in high elos, they're 9-10 CS per minute, but they're in individual lanes collecting CS and XP. If you start grouping up and sharing it, and maybe you lose a team fight and one of the enemies is in a side lane, they're going to be so far ahead of you in XP and gold. Gets the Lich, head straight down mid. They drop down the bot. Froggen opting for a top lane split push, maybe into the Jace. The Jace can probably kill him, but if there's any help from the Jarvan, like obviously Jace is pretty immobile, he'll get blown up. This long open mid lane just sets up so many picks. If you can get the jungle vision, you can just get in undetected and look for picks there. Any type of picks now, so if they pick 2 or 3 members, it's going to be straight into a Baron. Like I said, the Jace drops into a 2v1. Apdo ports in. Decent teleport by the Gnar, but I think it's going to be too late. At the Gnar, but yep. I mean, that was a decent teleport by the Gnar. If they were a little bit further ahead, it would have been nice, but... ends up being a 2-for-1 in Apdo's favor. Froggen pieces out and just said, fuck this team, probably. Fuck this Gnar. He has done nothing. Gnar and Jarvan have literally lost the game for them. I think that in this scenario, if Froggen's Gnar and Jarvan were a little bit better, it'd be a closer game. It'd be much funner to watch. But if you're behind to Apdo's TF, he's just going to slowly whittle you away. It's hard to come back into the game. Has a 20 CS lead or so right now, but Froggen's going to go topside and clean that up. They'll probably be even after this. Froggen still doesn't have a stopwatch. That's the biggest problem. How can you team fight with no stopwatch against a Twisted Fate? You can't. You just get gold carded, you get caught up, you get silenced by the Soraka, and boom, you're dead. Doesn't matter how much damage you are if you're dead. They do have the Braum. He can block out Apdo cards. He can block out everything. It's kind of I hate playing in a Braum. It's so fucking frustrating. Braum's one of like the better supports at the moment as well. Look at their waves. Look at blue side's waves. They're all shoving in. Perfect. Straight before the objective. Grab that Mountain Drake. Mountain's really nice on a team like this. You can shove down towers extremely quickly on the Jace and the TF. Mountains are so nice if you're playing a split pusher. Once again, like I said, these long mid lanes, you cannot overextend like that. It's just useless. Especially if you don't have jungle control. Ezreal's got that QSS. See, right here, you just want to pull them out. The objective is not really to do Baron because it's kind of risky. I mean, maybe they can steal it, but you just want to pull them out and then look to pick. Get the vision, deny it, get a control ward in the Baron pit, sweeper around where you're walking, and the enemy team has no idea. You pull them, enemy team tries to get mid priority. They can't quite pick them off. So one thing that interests me here is that Apdo hasn't decided to split at all. He's literally just been sitting mid. I don't think once he's opted for a side lane. He has that XP, he has that CS advantage over Froggen. He can probably win the 1v1, but he doesn't want to be split from his team. They have the tempo advantage, they might as well just keep grouping, keep looking for picks, because the enemy team keeps fucking up and they're getting the picks. Froggen is looking for the side lane though, like he has to. Just because he can't team fight at the moment without the hourglass. He needs to be able to clear the bot lane in and then look for a TP flank when all the cooldowns are down. That's his win condition. We'll be able to solo the Jace, but he hasn't got any armor, so the Jace can probably 1v1 him. Froggen get cool. Yeah, see, you can't get caught up like that without the hourglass. You can't go in. One gold card into the follow-up CC of Sedge ult, Soraka silence, Varus ult. You're donezo. There's no counterplay there. And you can see like them holding this jungle. Look at the gold lead now. It's just like excelling. It's 7.5k. It's pretty much impossible here to come back into the game. Mainly just due to how far behind the Gnar and the Jarvan is. Both of them will get blown up by a gold card into full combos, so it's going to be a 4v5 or 3v5 even. Alright, so right now, Apdo team's looking for a reset. At around about 25 minutes, if you have winning lanes, you want to be looking to get the control vision out near the Baron side, look for picks, and then just rush the Baron. I mean, they've got a pretty fast Baron with the Varus on hit. They've got a Jace, the Sedge to tank it, Soraka to heal them. So you just want to be looking for picks. Try and get somebody, maybe the Ezreal, even the Jarvan. He's very squishy, no QSS. Pick that off and just rush the Baron. Apdo running down mid with the 10 Dark Seal stacks. Got the Hourglass. He's got everything he needs in the build. Froggen's picked up the stopwatch, but honestly, I mean, it's not really... It's too late for him, to be honest. Like, he's a scaling mage, but there's too much CC and silences on Apdo's side to really enable him to do anything in his fights. He goes topside, shoves it in. Apdo will answer Froggen in the side lane now. Froggen's got the teleport. Apdo's got the ult. The ult's faster than the teleport. Apdo definitely has an advantage. Also has a faster shove. We'll see if Froggen answers. They've dropped into a 1-3-1 right now. First time Apdo's been in the side lane. Majority of the game, he's just been sitting mid, looking to dictate that map with the ult. Shoves in. Right now, he's kind of actually like, you look for the Cassin a little bit. Because the team fight looks like there's going to be something erupting in the mid lane because the enemy team's trying to get priority. Hold, Q auto. He's winning though. He wins that trade hard. See how he's got that XP advantage? Ports in before the Cassin in. Froggen looks to back. He's looking to base. Teleport in, but it's going to be too late. 2 members have dropped and it's going to be a Baron rush now. There's nothing here that Froggen can do. If you contest the Baron, you die. They're probably going to run down mid with the Baron and close because you're the strongest member. So you've just got to give it and then try and contest on one of the inhib sieges if you're Froggen. Grabs the base and everybody's looking to grab their final items. This is going to be the final siege. When you get your Baron in Korea, they always just go, go, go. They want to punish hard. Every single time you get Baron in Korea, it's just everybody is trying to end ASAP. Make any pick. One pick, it's going to be trying to get that Nexus down afterwards. I guarantee you. So they're dropping down into the mid lane. Jace is shoving off bot. Setting up the vision. Maybe he can actually pick Froggen off here. We'll see. Has the stopwatch is the gold card. Has to burn the flash, burn the stopwatch, ults out. I mean, as the biggest threat on the enemy team, you burn that stopwatch, you burn that flash, that's huge. It means for this actual inhib defense, it's pretty much impossible for you to do much. And if you do try and do something, you don't have many escape routes now. They'll easily siege this out. They've got that mountain. Got the Baron, the Twisted Fate with the Lich Bane, the Jace W. I mean, you're just clearing those objectives so quick. Bang, bang, bang. Drop that bot lane inhib. Now you have a couple of options. Do you go to Drake or do you go to Siege again? I think Drake is probably the bad call because Baron, you're on a limited ticking time bomb. It's not as though they're going to go for the Drake. How's the enemy team going to get to the Drake? If they go for the Drake, you're going to lose your base. So it's better to siege top or mid here. Top lane's the better option because it's the further, because you want to be sieging the opposite side to where the supers are spawning because it takes a while to clear the supers. If you're clearing mid lane supers, you can drag them across, but the bot lane, you can't drag them. Somebody has to be committed. Apdo drops that ult, looking for someone to pick somebody at the red. They see Froggen basing in. No, slowly siege that top lane. Froggen finally has that hourglass for these fights. We'll see what he can get done. I honestly don't see there's any way these team fights go into Froggen's favor. Now watch how Apdo sieges on these towers. You want to card hover and then just pop it on the tower. And when the enemy team's looking to engage, watch. Grabs that gold card and just make sure he hovers it so that if any type of engage from the enemy, you've got that gold card, you just lock them up. Goes a little bit deep there, gets caught out by the Gnar, doesn't mean anything. They drop the team, get the inhib and close out. So that's it for my Apdo review today, guys. I hope you've learned something. I thought it was great to look at the matchup between Froggen and Apdo. it's nice to kind of look at a familiar face versus Apdo and see how they match up and they go. It's nice to see how Apdo just held the lane. He didn't let Froggen punish or bully him around. Apdo held the freeze, held the map presence. That ultimate holding the map together like glue, and Froggen just really struggled to kind of punish it and get something done in the map. Not only that, I mean, his jungle and top lane seemed pretty boosted. So I think, honestly, I mean, it's kind of an unfair matchup to look at, but it's just the way it is. Hopefully, Froggen can get a couple more matchups against Apdo. Maybe in the future I'll review that. I think I might do even a Froggen review of over in Korea, because his Talia right now, he's been stomping 80% win rate. He's like ranked 20 at the moment. So maybe that might be my next review. So that's it for today, guys. I hope you've enjoyed watching, and I'll see you next time.